Hello and welcome and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Lisa Mitrakin from It's Easy to Draw Art Academy, and today I will show you the quick and easy way to color a pink opal. These are my 3 reference images from which I will be creating my opal design, and I printed this drawing on a pinkish tan-toned paper. Perhaps you recall it from the coloring we did 2 weeks ago of this delightful blue opal on the left side of the page. This practice page is still available in the collector's vault. Swing by and grab it and print it. Because I'm working on tan-toned paper and because I'm creating a very pale gemstone, I am starting with my white charcoal primer. Now, this doesn't have to be white charcoal. You can absolutely do this step with just a white pencil. And if you're working on white paper altogether, you don't even need this step. You can absolutely do this on white paper. But if you know me at all, if you know my channel and my academy, and if you've gone through any one of my courses or tutorials, you know that I highly recommend working on toned paper because it creates the most professional and beautiful results. So if you're with me, if you're coloring on toned paper, go ahead and grab your white pigment, whatever it may be, white charcoal or a white pencil, and prime the entire surface of what will be your opal with this white pigment. Do avoid pastels though. A lot of people ask me if you can replace this step with pastel pencils. You cannot. Our colored pencils will not layer over pastels as nicely as they do over white charcoal. So I don't care how you do it, but you want your center stone to be pure white and filled in with a pigment that will be friendly for colored pencils. Now, if you remember this from our coloring 2 weeks ago, this idea, this request came to me from one of my students from the Complete Guide to Coloring Gemstones course over at the Academy. In that course, I teach hundreds upon hundreds different stones. Of course, not each one individually, but we have something like 80 lessons in that course, and we color gemstones, cut gems, gems of different colors, precious gems and semi-precious gems, cabochons, amber, pearls, and of course, diamonds. Opals are also in that course, but I teach only white iridescent opals there. So one of my students specifically requested a blue opal and a pink opal. You already saw the blue one. If you didn't, I'll put the link to that video in the pinned comment and in the video description. And today I thought would be the perfect day to color the pink one. Once your primer is done, if you're working with a white charcoal like I am, I recommend coming in with a Q-tip to smooth everything out. The Q-tip will make sure that your pigment is nice and even and there's no powdery residue on the surface. Opals are magical. They're very different and there's no other gemstone like them. We often refer to opals as moonstones, and that is why I personally refer to this step as adding the moon craters. With my pink pencil, this is blush pink from the Prismacolor set. A regular pink will also work. Actually, blush pink and regular pink are pretty much identical in the Prismacolor set, so it doesn't really matter which one you grab. You can absolutely control the intensity of this pink with just how you color, with your application of color. Regardless of which pink you choose, if you're even working with Prismacolor, this can be done with any brand of pencils. With your nice and gentle pink that you selected, go ahead and add this kind of a crater pattern to your moonstone. Notice how I'm changing the directions of my pencil strokes for every single crater that I add. And even though I use the term crater, they're not actually craters. We're not making round shapes. We're making kind of blotchy little samples of color, a little bit sketchy, each one a little bit different from the other, and each one varying in size and shape a little bit. Again, all of this is coming from my reference photography. And for you, you have my finished drawing as your reference. Now, this is all done in real time. I am not speeding through this coloring at all. This is the actual speed with which I'm coloring, and you will see that the entire stone itself, I will complete in about 10 minutes. This is a really quick and easy effect. And once I've added quite a few of my craters to the moonstone, I am now adding a little bit more of cross shading all over them. Notice that I also left a little bit of a semicircle on the left for my reflection. Now, what I know about opals and what I saw in my reference images is that there's a lot of iridescence inside of this cabochon. Iridescence is something that I cover in great detail in the course, and it's pure magic. I like to use neon colors for my iridescent effects, and in this case, I am coming in with neon yellow. Does that not already look amazing? I love pencils that I can add to my coloring on toned paper that actually look lighter than the color of the paper. This is one of the most amazing reasons to use toned paper. Like having a stone that's lighter than the color of our surface, than the color of our canvas, is really incredible. It's a very professional look. If we were just doing this on white paper, it would kind of get lost. It would look a little bit boring. We would have to add a lot of shading, a lot of coloring all around it for our stone to truly stand out and be lighter than the rest of the composition. Blue is an essential part of iridescence, blue or green. Greenish blue, bluish green. This is why I went with light aqua. Light aqua is a light turquoise color, which is closer to blue, but because we already have quite a bit of neon yellow in here, if we overlap this blue with the yellow, we'll get a little bit of that green iridescence in there as well. Very cool. Don't overdo the blue though. And actually the blue here is optional. It doesn't appear in all iridescent pink opals, but it does appear in some of them. So I decided to add it to this demo. Now that we've added the iridescent effect, let's pump up that pink. I am coming in with magenta. Magenta is a very highly saturated fuchsia color, and that's exactly what we're looking for this step. And we're just going to infuse the areas that are already the strongest in pink pigment with this fuchsia. But notice that it looks a little bit sketchy, so I will immediately come in with pink or blush pink. Like I said, they're almost identical. It doesn't matter which one you use, but I'll immediately come in with pink and smooth it out, blend it out, kind of blur them a little bit. You don't have to do it immediately. You can add all of your magenta pigment first and then come in with the blender, but I wanted to make sure that you guys see the effect that I'm ultimately going for. I didn't want to scare you with all the scratchy coloring. But you can absolutely do it in 2 even steps. Step 1, add all of your magenta patches. Step 2, blend it with pink. Me, I'm impatient. I really want these effects to come to life and be as smooth as possible right away for the sake of presentation. But if no one's watching, if the cameras aren't rolling, you can do whatever you want as long as the outcome is nice and smooth in the end. I like showing the finished project on the left because of the stark difference between how we perceive what we're coloring at the time that we're coloring it versus how it will look in the end. Because a lot of times we get swayed by our inaccurate perception of what's happening on the page. For instance, what I see happening on the right side of the screen right now is that my pink is insanely strong. It's almost like a neon pink. This gemstone, this cabochon is looking severely bright and a little bit weird. It kind of looks like some kind of a distorted pizza. But looking at the finished piece on the left, the gemstone actually comes across as something very dainty and very pale. And why is that? The colors are the same. It's only that way by context. You can see that I've completed the setting in rose gold, and against that rose gold, the light pink gemstone actually looks very light. But without the actual brooch colored, it looks completely different. So don't let it freak you out. Trust me, if you follow my steps exactly, you will get to the same amazing outcome. If you feel like the pink effects that you've added with magenta are a little bit too intense, you can come in with a more natural blush kind of a blender. Me, I'm using light peach. This way, the stone comes across as just a little bit more natural, a little bit more earthy. And it will smooth everything out a little bit more. We want that. The cabochon is highly polished, and there's somewhat of a blurred effect happening inside of an opal cabochon. It's not entirely 100% crisp. It's slightly out of focus when you look at it. And finally, I like to come in with my Prismacolor white and highlight that reflection. I made my reflection on the left match the one that I've added to the blue opal on the left side of the page, just so that my lighting is consistent. But your light reflection doesn't have to be on the left. It can be on the right, it can be on the top, it can be on the bottom. It can even be all the way around, like one complete ring, if that's how the lighting is in your scenario. And you can add a few more white pencil highlights all over, or even use your white pencil to lighten everything even further if you feel that it's needed. So that took me 13 minutes to complete, exactly 13 minutes. That is lightning fast, and what an amazing outcome. Another hour later, I've completed the rose gold setting on my brooch, and if you're interested in seeing that full recording, I will have it up for all of my patrons of the Coloring Club tier. If you are one of said patrons, you already have the full recording of the blue opal, and as I promised, the pink one will be available to you as well. Once I finished coloring my brooch and everything looks nice and clean and tidy, and I'm really happy with how the opal came out, I like to come in with my white gel pen and add the highlights to the brooch itself, of course, but also add the white highlights to my cabochon. I am only adding the white highlights to that semicircle that is the light reflection on the left. That is it. I'm not touching any other part of this opal. Remember that it is a cabochon. A cabochon is a convex surface that is highly polished. So there are no facets here. There's no facets inside of this stone. It's literally like a semi-sphere that is set into this brooch. And there you have it. A 13-minute way to color a beautiful, realistic pink opal. Thank you so much to the student who requested this topic. If you are not yet a member of It's Easy to Draw Art Academy, make sure to visit it and join it. The link is in the video description. It's on the screen. It's in the pinned comment. You can't miss it. The Academy is 100% free to join, and all courses have free preview lessons. So there's no reason not to give every single one of them a taste. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to give it the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and happy Valentine's Day.